It's your safe word crew. You know who it is. It's Kane Marcos.
And I am your other host, Aurora Star.
And you know who it is. It's your co-host, Miss Sasha Lyncher.
But today we have a very special guest on, Miss Goddess Mama. She is like my guru, my spiritual counsel, guide, mentor, everything that you just need, hey, am I doing stuff right? This is why she's Goddess Mama. And so she's coming to us today because she's on a whole goddess trek. And she's going to explain it a little bit, but I want you to explain who you are, what you do, where people can find you, and how they follow you on this amazing goddess journey.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aurora, and everybody else on the show. This is an amazing show.
Thank you.
As she said, my name is Goddess Mama. You can follow me right now on TikTok. That has been the place that I've been posting the most right now, and hopefully I'll expand that at some point. But I'm doing van life. Been doing it now for about a year. And it has taken me all over so much of the western side of the United States. And I have met some beautiful people and had some crazy experiences. And, I really get to see the new world coming about. And that was my whole season for getting out of here and letting go of everything. I just got to download, let go of everything, and put yourself out there. And so I'm doing the nomadic life right now. And it's been spectacular. And I've been writing a little bit about it, and I'm going to do blogging about it here pretty soon. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Yes, and she actually has a book out as well. I mean, you need to talk about your book a little bit because you do have something published. So if people want to find out about you and who you are, this is your moment to shine. Come on, Goddess Mama, tell us about yourself. Tell us about the book.
So I do. I have a book out entitled Journey to I, and it's by Maisha I, which is one of my names, one of my monikers. And you can find that on Amazon right now. And it's a story about my early life and some of the traumas that I went through and all of the chaos that so many of us have to endure to just come to this point of actually tapping into our spirituality. So it's a pretty good read. I've had a lot of good feedback about it. So like I said, Journey to I, you can find it on Amazon. You can also find it on my website, which is embraceology.com.
And we'll put that in the description box below for anybody that needs to reach out to Ms. Goddess Mama. We'll have all her information below. So, but to kick this off a little bit, and I have a personal question. If you guys have questions right here, right now, within her bio, you guys can ask questions too. But my question is for people that don't know what the heck a goddess trek is or van life. Why are you doing this? What made you? What, are you looking for an end game, somewhere to settle?
It's interesting because I thought I was looking for an end game, somewhere to just kind of travel the U.S. and find out what people are doing and find where I wanted to settle, looking for my tribe, looking for my tribe. And what has happened is the trek has just kept going. It's just going. And now I no longer really know where I'm going next. I'm just kind of guided, and I listen and I go where I go next, and so that's what I've been doing. I sleep in my van. I cook in my van. Actually, I like to say I live outside my van. So I like to cook out of my van.
Right.
Okay. So cooking outside has become my thing. The next time I get a house, I'll have to have the kitchen outside.
There you go.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
So on your travels, you said you've been at it for about a year. What were some of the most impactful places you visited, and what was the impact that those places have had on you? Like, what was your healing? What was the message? What was the connection? What was some of the greatest places and the greatest connections and impacts you've gotten from those places in your travels?
I would have to say Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta has been one of the places that calls me back and forth throughout many years. It calls me all the time, and I'm always visiting there. And it was very interesting that when I started this trip, I didn't even think about going to Mount Shasta. And I was like 4 months into my trip, and all of a sudden it was like, why am I not going to Mount Shasta?
Yes, so just go.
I can be there all, for the whole summer. Oh my God. And it was incredible. We had a lot of fires and things going on, but community back up in the woods was amazing. Literally, we're building community in the back of the woods. We were, cooking our food together. We were running errands together. I remember at one point, one of the ladies has a bus, and it was about 10 of us got on the bus with our dogs, because everybody has a dog. Okay,
No.
you doing life, you got a dog. Okay, at least one. I got two.
Protection, yes.
And we went to Ashland in Oregon, and we all pile out of this bus. Can you imagine the people looking at us going, what? The hippie bus. We call
All
it
the
the hippie.
hippies, all the
Literally.
hippies getting off
Literally,
the bus, all the
everybody and the
little
dogs
flying
come rolling out like clown cars.
Wow.
The
Yeah,
hippie cars.
like a clown car.
Yes, it's the peace bus. You better stop.
It was. So that, I would say, being in Shasta for almost 4 months and then having this woman paint my car amazingly during that time was just, I have no words for what Shasta brought to my space. And then I left there and ended up going to Sedona and getting very sick, ended up getting COVID and still dealing in the throes of the pneummonia. So Sedona was, I would call that my, I don't know, Sedona kind of whooped my butt.
Yeah.
You know,
So
it
do you
kinda
think
whooped my
Sedona
butt.
was a battleground for you?
I peeped something in Sedona that Sedona didn't want me to see. It's not a pretty place right now. It's actually a very dark place right now for people. That we got to clean that up, because it is a mess right now, and the land is screaming for us to come and help it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
funny because Sedona always, it's one way or the other, usually with Sedona. It's a very spiritual place, and people either go there and they're like, oh my gosh, the vortexes and beautiful, and I pulled that.
Sedona,
And there's also a dark side to Sedona.
it's become a facade of
Yeah.
spirituality
It's a
at this point.
Disneyland.
It's been gentrified spirituality. That's what I would say.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
become people that want to infiltrate that and make it a fad, as opposed to really making sure people are getting the exact wellness that they need. And instead of keeping those natural properties, you're mining them for some other reason. So you have this facade of wellness that's going around.
But
Yeah.
I also think that, you know, with what you said, like everybody comes out there to build that facade. Everybody's got that fake wokeness that's going around right now, but the land isn't necessarily identifying, you know, the difference between people who are really going there for spiritual healing. I mean, it's like that story in the Bible where it's just like your faith has made you well, you know, like you go to that land and that land is taking on so much from all these people who are going there and don't understand exactly what they're doing, don't understand what the land is doing for them, and they're leaving their trash, so to say, their spiritual garbage there, and nobody's tending to it, nobody's picking up after it.
Yeah,
They're still not being dealt with properly.
They're like pummeling the earth in that area with their carbon footprint more than ever because of the fake wokeness. You think that if you're doing all these crystals and doing all this stuff and taking up all these energies and taking up all the space to try to pay to be well, you're paying to be unwell.
Right.
And you're soiling the earth for people that want to reap what it has to offer.
Right. Wants to give back.
Probably
Yeah.
like a
Good
second
point.
Joshua Tree. Like Joshua
Yes.
Tree used to be a very spiritual place, and now there's resorts and spas all over it.
Yeah.
It's a landmark now. It's not a sacred trail. It's not a rite of passage. It's not let me get through this tough time so I could feel like I conquered something, so I could leave it on the rock or the mountain. It's like, no, oh my God, we're gonna Instagram this.
right.
Oh my
Exactly. Yep.
But
exactly.
no, that doesn't make you
Right.
woke. That doesn't make you self-aware. That doesn't make you conscious. That makes you ignorantly conscious of being
Makes you
a
following.
buffoon.
You're still doing the same thing you were doing before. You're still in the matrix. You haven't woken up, and you're just following the trend. You know, because
You're
there's more
acting
people
like Neo.
awake
You're not
talking
reading the
about
books
it.
to understand what Neo knows. You're acting like Neo. You got to read the book. You got to get out there. You got to do the work. You got to figure it out. You have to go off the grid.
Yep.
That's why hiking and all that stuff and spirituality, you're tapping in. That's a step to it.
Yep.
Auntie Mama, you Goddess Mama call you Auntie Mama. You gonna get us open up in here.
You don't get us to open
I'm
up.
gonna get you what? Say that again. I'm gonna get you what?
You gonna get us open in here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let's open it up. Let's open it up and have real discussion for real.
Yes.
Yes.
So here's something that I have talked to Miss Goddess Mama about. But I want her to kind of bring it to the show and explain what it is for people that don't know. And I'm actually going to ask my crew right now if they have an idea of what is the difference between selflessness versus selfishness, or what direction do you think she's going to go with that? Let's play a little game here. All right. I'm gonna hit Kane first because he's been very quiet.
God damn it.
I was talkative last night, so I'm gonna be quiet tonight.
You know, I've always had a real strong thought process about selflessness and selfishness, just because I think that everybody kind of connotates selflessness with a good quality and selfishness with a negative quality. But there's a certain degree of selfishness that is a positive quality, and that's loving yourself, thinking about yourself, you know, putting yourself first in situations.
Okay, and I'm gonna stop you right there because I want to see if that. Okay, so that's the direction you think she's gonna go.
I think so.
Okay, all right. Give me a short little synopsis, Miss Sasha, of what you think Miss Goddess Mama is gonna be talking about here. And you're on mute, Miss Goddess Mama. You on mute? You gotta unmute your mic.
I would say the duality of selfishness and selfish and selfless.
Yep.
Selfless
He's
and
stroking.
selfish have a very close duality because you could do the same at the same time.
Right. All right, and Miss Goddess Mama's on mute right now, so we're gonna give her a second. Unmute yourself. There you go. All right, so now we're gonna actually ask her what direction she was going with this, and what does that mean? Selflessness versus selfishness.
Okay. So many of us have been taught to be selfless in this society. You always give up everything you want, you give it up, right? Our energy is always to be expended by other people.
Yeah.
And so what I'm talking about is this, there's a little meme going around, and I can't even remember what book I read this in or what I saw in, but this guy says either you are 95% in service to yourself or 50% in service to others.
Yeah.
And I really sat with that for a long time, that so to be selfish, the 95%, that means that I'm watching what I'm eating. I'm caring for myself in a way that I've never cared for myself, maybe. I am watching how I sleep. I am being very conscious of my beingness.
Right.
And when I do that, that automatically expands out into the world.
Yeah.
Because if others are seeing me do that, then they will learn to do that for themselves. That's the best way to teach your children how to take care of themselves, is to be selfish, actually. Because they see you taking care of yourself and they go, oh, this is how I take care of myself, is that I watch what I eat. I make sure I get my sleep. I make sure I get my time to myself. And so those are the things that are important. And so I've been really playing with that because I really like the 95% in service to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and if more people would do that, I mean, it would unlock so many things for, you know, the person themselves, right?
Exactly.
But on top of it, it would just, I mean, gosh, think how much smoother life would probably run if people were happy and doing stuff for themselves every once in a while.
Goddess Mama was saying, it's the rewiring yourself to feel like taking care of yourself is a selfish task. It's and it's bad. Like, even as moms and Black women, we got to be ride or die. Everybody first. We tired, we whoop. You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown. No, my neck should be strong. I should be resilient. I should be rested. My mind should be strong, so I can tend to the people and love on the people lovingly and show them and be of service to them. Because if I'm half haggard, it's going to be a half haggard clan.
Yep.
And we can't, you know, so it is okay to take pride into who you are, because then that's going to be a reflection. People are going to see how to stand up tall because you are.
Yep.
Exactly. Too many people really confuse like to say that, you know, you have to be selfish. It's the best way to teach your kids, you know, like to be selfish. And what you got to understand, I think, is that it's not like the selfishness is thinking about yourself, but also separating it from the greed and the jealousy that makes you want to intake more and, you know, consume more and possess more, and
to do that to get more attention.
That's more than selfishness. That is a greed. That is a jealousy. That is, you know, a negativity that too many people confuse selfishness for being. Like, selfishness is meant to be a oneness, not a greediness.
That's where you get the fake wokeness, the people selfishly trying to look like they have it together.
Because right now, all they're doing is just like, oh my gosh, I found out about this awesome universal energy that is infinite and abundant. And instead of realizing, you know, what they can do to, you know, exchange, you know, their woes and their hurts for joy, they are trying to consume all of it. How do I consume infinity, you know, all to myself?
And
like,
monetize
if it won't run out, then I can have it all.
and monetize it. It's just for monetization. You see people talking about manifestation and building tribes, all in the name of cults, all in the name of self-preservation and self-deprecation, and not like, okay, no, you can't really learn how to manifest. Let's create this platform. This is how I'm connecting with our tribe. But no, you're really utilizing that self-servingness in the name of servitude, or you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, and I want to piggyback on that, because tribe is the important piece here. You know, really building tribe, and most people have no clue what building a tribe actually means.
Yeah.
You know, because a tribe is all about, let's make this a win-win situation for everyone, and let's figure this out. That's how you have a leader-full tribe, not just some one person telling everyone what to do. You utilize everybody's skills, and wherever your skill is, where you're proficient in, then you're the leader in that aspect of it. You take that on, or a project that you see that needs to be done, you take on that project and you become the leader. So we have to understand, living in tribe, we have been totally pulled away from that in this society by doing the 2.5 family. You know, the family, you have a single home, everybody, you know,
and to piggyback
you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, but to piggyback on that point, people get so caught up in the name tribe. That means you own something. No, within tribes, they're collectives. So the tribe has to have a council of other collectives within that tribe. So that's what makes it look like a root. You know what I'm saying? It's the head when it goes down, the collectives, and it all is coming together to harmoniously have an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right. In a tribe,
and everybody do their job.
Yeah, everybody
job.
each other. It's a nice circle, you know, everyone's taking. So no one's really taking and just continuing to take. So yeah,
everybody matters in a tribe. That's everybody has a purpose and a meaning in a tribe, and it's not to push somebody's papers, and it's not to do, you know, somebody else's stuff. You know, it is really about, how do we survive when you are having to deal with, you know, we got to plant some food in order to be able to eat, and we got to build houses together in order to be able to have shelter. Then you begin to have this cohesiveness. It begins to build. And I'm looking forward to seeing, and this is what I see happening, is tribes beginning to pop up around the United States. And eventually there'll be this connection, like this interwoven piece, because cities not work, because people get lost in the cities. So we have to go back to tribal living in order, if we want to be healthy.
Right.
Now, if we want to be sick, we can stay in the city.
Well, we have to take a step back too. Let's go back to the 90s and early 2000s. We've already seen the blueprint. It's been put in front of us. And how many movies have we seen when it's a calamity going on in the universe? And you see people on their radios, you see people with their, you know, communicating with each other with their walkie-talkies and their own tribes. Like the blueprint has already been out there so far ahead of us. But like you said, you're out here, you're finding tribes. Goddess Mama, that's super cool.
That is really
and another thing, when I'm really in the middle of a tribe, telepathy has a place. It starts playing in this interconnectedness of the people that are part of that. There's a telepathy, there's a mental, I don't even know how to explain, a synergy that begins to happen between the members.
Well, it's like friends or connections. You get syncopated with people, you think of them, they call you, you know, you feel something happen and someone got hurt. Like it's even to a place with me and my daughter. I know we're one and whatever. That's a whole nother story, but conversations that we feel like we hear each other speak out loud with nothing being said. Speaking on the same waves, like saying these same things, doing these same things. So it exists when you are in tune where you need to be, like when you are truly where you need to be. You can, yes, ma'am. That's so cool. You brought that up.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah,
that's really
we're gonna
awesome.
have more of that too. We're gonna have more of that. We're moving into more of that too. So
Exactly. So in talking about being healthy, okay, we're gonna move on to the next subject here. And how I got a question. You've been around for a while. You guide people. You mentor. You know, you've lived a lot of life. No, this woman, I'm telling you, you could pick her brain for freaking 6 hours and learn something new. You know, every single time. So here's a great question for you. And since we're talking about relationships in this season, you've had a lot of experience with helping people through relationships. You've had a lot of experience with helping people with their relationship with themselves. But how would you say would be a good way to end a relationship, like healthily, cut ties?
Just when it was getting good. Want to find out more? Well, join us next week for part 2, where we explain exactly how you should end a relationship the healthy way. Only on Safe Word.